Hello everyone, Carlos Flores, back on basics. So before we begin, like always, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Back on Basics 9985. Hit the notification button so you can get notified of any new video that comes on board. Comments, suggestions, topics, feedback, put it in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to connect with you so that way I can respond to you, or I can give you a take on anything that you're asking a question about, or a topic that you're suggesting. If you want to connect with me in other social media outlets, you can connect with me on Facebook by searching Carlos Flores Jr. You can connect with me on Instagram by searching or typing in @BackOnBasics. You can connect with me on X by also typing @BackOnBasics. You can connect with me on WhatsApp by searching and typing @BackOnBasics 9985. So we're talking about getting out of your head or staying out of your head. Sorry, I just realized that I just got some schmutz over here. All right, staying out of your head. A lot of times we as human beings stay inside our heads because we don't want to do, or it's not that we don't want to do it. There's so many factors that affect how we do the things, the day-to-day things. And it's amazing because we stay in our heads because that's kind of like a safety zone for us. If we stay in our heads and we kind of like, give excuses, we're anxious, we're depressed, we're not feeling good, we don't want to deal with people, we don't want to deal with the environment. I mean, there's so many reasons why we stay in our heads. But it's interesting because if we stay in our heads, we don't move forward. If we stay in our heads, we don't get motivated. We don't get that sharp mind that we do. I mean, there's two different kinds. I mean, if we're anxious, if we're negative, if we're depressed, if we're feeling bad, if we're like we can't do things, we're not going to move forward, and eventually we're going to stop. Getting back from stopping and going takes a little bit more time than just getting out of your head. A lot of times getting out of your head needs activities. And yesterday's video was about some of the activities that I do in the mornings, some of the activities that I do so that way you keep your mind focused and you keep yourself motivated. Getting out of your head is the same thing. It's just realizing what helps, what doesn't help in moving forward. What do you like doing, right? I love making these videos. I love being a resource to all of you. I appreciate the 229 of you that have subscribed to this YouTube channel. Again, this is not the sexy dancing or the funny skits or whatever. I'm not. It is not, because this is about resources. I may do stuff that's maybe a little funny in the shorts, but other than that, this is about resources. This is about making sure that you and I, or all of us, right? Because we're the part of our support system. I'm part of your support system. You're part of my support system. And so we want to move forward. We want to utilize the compounding effect, right? So that way little victories build into medium-sized victories build into large-sized victories. I mean, it's amazing how this mind can get you out doing stuff. I mean, for most of my early life, for most of my early adult life, I was inside my head most of the time. Believe me, I was inside my head. I was anxious about everything because I was afraid that I wasn't going to do a good job. So what I was doing is I was setting my own roadblock even before I began. I literally set my own roadblock. If we were going to, like, for example, like to visit somebody or a theme park or whatever, I used to think a lot about what ifs. Because what if this happens? What if we can't find parking? What if it takes a lot longer? What if they're not home? What if the blah, 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 blah. I stayed in my head, and not until a few years back that I realized that was happening to me all the time. And even now, I'm sharpening my mind every day. I'm focusing my mind every day because you know what? Those negative thoughts, the not being with people, the not wanting to do it, that questioning yourself, that's the biggest thing. I don't want you to question yourself because you can do it. You can do anything you set your mind to. Remember, if you think it, you do it. If you do it, you think it. But you have to stay out of your head. You have to come out of your head and at least do something physical or do something mental that'll get you going. Like this. I love this. I appreciate all of you because all of you are motivating me to move forward, to think about different topics, to give you different topics or the same topics from different perspectives. Because you know what I do? Is I ask my support team and I say, I talked about this and this is where this is where I took this topic from. Is the place that I can bring it from so that more people can relate to it. And they give me suggestions. I mean, I have people here that have watched my videos, that actually watch every single video that I publish in my YouTube channel. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that because you know what? Repetition. That's what's happening in this channel. Repetition. I'm telling you about the 5 no's, right? Knowing yourself, knowing others, knowing your higher power, knowing how to get your goals, and knowing how to celebrate your goals so you can have closure. That in itself is a lot to think about. But I broke it down in each of those 5 steps, I broke it down into a video, and then I put it all together. Why? Because that brings closure. Because that says into your mind, I'm done. Celebrate, right? And after celebrating, you move forward. You add another goal. You rest a little bit, right? Other things like micro breaks. That's important. I just had a micro break. I was just outside getting my composure ready. I did some shorts. I did an Instagram micro short. I mean, it's amazing because it took forever for me to do these at the beginning because I would stumble. I would be in my head. I was thinking, oh, nobody's going to listen to this. Nobody's going to follow this. Nobody's going to do that. But yet I got a bunch of comments. I'm getting a lot of likes. I'm getting a lot of feedback, which is great because you know what? You help me course correct. I love it. I love it. And I appreciate it because I want to course correct. I want to be able to give you the thing that you need. And staying out of your head is something that we all have to learn. Believe me, I'm practicing it. I'm getting much better at it. But it takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of moving forward. It takes a lot of things, doing it with your focused mind and doing it with your focused body. It's amazing, right? Again, remember, I told you, and I'm not going to say what I do, but in the morning I do something physical and I do something mental, at least one of each. But today I've done quite a bit, mental and physical. I've graded for my classes that I'm teaching at University of Phoenix online. I got prepared. I'm preparing for an exam that I'm taking for my credential program. I've cooked. I've done dishes. I mean, it's amazing, right? It's amazing. I feel amazing. I was a little bit slow at the beginning, but now I'm like ramped up. Now I can go even more. Now I can do a lot of things. I was to the point that I was when I was working on something. I mean, I got to watch the U.S. women's soccer team uh, uh, win their game, so they're in the middle round, and then I said, "Huh, might as well just listen to." Right, listen to, and again, that's another thing, right? You can listen to something if you can concentrate, you can listen to something. So I was listening to the Brazil Spain game, and Brazil and the United States this Saturday, gold medal. It's going to be awesome. I'll be watching it. My pops would have been watching every single game, every single game, every single game. The men's and the women's. I can't do that, but you know what? I love the game. I remember I'm getting healthier so that way I can be more active. Even today, I stepped out when I was doing the shorts and I was talking about getting out of your head, right? And not being positive. I mean, not being negative and not having anxiety and fear. And I told myself, holy crap, I want to go back and do jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Oh, that, I mean, I think I did it for about 2 years. Nova Geração, here in town. 2 years. I'm a gi. I mean, I'm still a white belt. I have two tips, but I still have my white belt. But, I'm older. Uh, I'm a little bit wiser. I dropped a lot of weight, and I think I'm ready to do that. So that's going to be one of the goals that I may do a little bit later on. Again, right? I'm looking ahead already, and it is making me so motivated, so motivated. And I'm telling you, it just happened. I was just walking out to do one of my shorts, and it just hit. I'm like, oh, Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, right? 2 years of it. I'll build on it. I mean, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty agile still. And so, again, that's a future goal. I'm just telling you, today at 3:28 p.m. Pacific time, right? August 6th, I want to do Brazilian Jiu Jitsu again. And so, those are the things motivated. Those are the things that get me going. I mean, you know, remember I told you I helped the Delta Mu Delta um, Honor Society, Business Honor Society, just kind of like the first and second round of scholarship selection process. And it was great. I got to learn a lot of different things about a lot of different uh, people that are in school right now, getting their bachelor's or their master's or their PhDs. And so again, right, it's one of those things that it's just amazing. I mean, it's amazing. It just motivates me. I'm out of my head. And so that's the reason why I said to myself, I'm going to do my video right now because I am so motivated to do that. So, besides all the other stuff that I said about getting out of your head, making a list, remember that, right? If you make a list of the things that you want to do, that you want to accomplish, you can write down your goals, you can write down the things that you want to accomplish, then your mind doesn't have to keep everything. You don't have to worry about it. And that's the thing that my mind does, or I do, is that sometimes I feel like I'm going to forget something important. And so I write things down. So that way, my mind is optimally, can't even say it, processing optimally. Just focusing on moving forward, right? Just moving forward. That's it. Moving forward. There's no going back. It's about moving forward. And so, again, right? There's so many different things that I want to do. So many different things. And so, I want to make sure that I'm doing the things that keep me moving forward, that keep me positive, that keep me motivated. And I also want to do the things that will give me a break in between the physical and the mental and the daily task in my work, and and then communicating and supporting my family. I mean, there's so many different things that we all do. We all wear different hats, right? I want you to pat yourself on the back because I know that all of you do so many different things. You take care of people, you support people economically, you help people in other ways, you make sure that things get done, you take care of yourself, you take care of others, you try to move forward and achieve new victories, right? And so, I mean, it's, again, that's staying out of your head. It's staying out of your head. It's kind of like the little pebble, right? If you roll it down a snowy mountain, eventually it'll get to a point where it'll be so compact and it'll be so big that the force and the momentum will be unstoppable. It's unstoppable. Unstoppable. I want to be unstoppable, and I want to be able to give you, my support system, the resources that you need so that way you can move forward. Remember, repetitive. My number one thing is repetition, repetition, repetition. Because the more you practice, the more it will become muscle mental memory. Muscle mental memory, right? It'll be automatic. Why do you think that when you're driving, if you drive, or when you're biking, or when you're scootering, if you go to a place of work or school, you know how to get there. You know when to turn without even looking at the street. You know when to stop because that's a traffic light, or that's a stoplight, or that's an intersection that's heavily trafficked. And you know it by memory. And why? Because you have done it so many different times. Because you have practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced. And that helps build this muscle memory. And it helps keep things a little bit more together. Because remember, the mind separates sometimes, right? If you don't do a memory tag with your memories, the mind will probably put it in different parts. And then you're going to have to bring it all together by recalling it, by doing something. Haven't you noticed that sometimes when you have a smell that comes through, you're like, oh, I remember that smell. I was camping, or I went to this lake, or I went to this river. Because it does. Because your mind is amazing. It's just working on it so that way it connects a lot faster and it brings it out a lot faster. And by writing things down, writing your goals down, remember, writing your bucket list things down, it will make it so that way you'll be focused. It will make it so that your mind doesn't have to process too much and it can hyper focus on the things that you need to hyper focus on. So, stay out of your head. I'd rather be positive. I'd rather be motivated. I'd rather be moving forward, even if it's like one step or less than one step at a time. But as long as I'm moving forward, I'm always motivated. These videos motivate me. I love doing these. 229 of you. Thank you for your subscription. Everybody that watches these videos every day, on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, thank you very much. Let's increase the number of views. My recommendation is for you to share it. And I know that a lot of you do. You share it with others. I want you to share it with others so that way they can see the things to help them do a life balance. Again, don't forget to connect with me on all their social media outlets. And then make sure, again, stay out of your head. Till next time, back on basics.